Hello everyone and welcome to another devlog video for Homegrown. Sorry it's been a while since the last one. I decided not to film the last update just so that I could really power through the final UI changes and get back to working on gameplay as quickly as possible. So I have now finished the entire UI overhaul. The final few changes were just a lot of little loose ends. I'll put the main ones on the screen now. But yeah, that means that today I'm getting back to work on gameplay, and I'll be working on gameplay for the next few months. This is going to be split into two parts. Firstly, I'm going to be working on a lot of new features for the town area, and then secondly, I'll be implementing some more farming features. So my first task today is just to do a bit of planning and plan out all of the upcoming changes to the town area. So, just finished my little planning session. I've been working out what order I'm going to implement all of the features in. I just want to quickly remind you of the gameplay loop in Homegrown. So it's very simple. You farm vegetables, you sell them to convert them into money, and you use that money to upgrade your tools and equipment so that you can farm better. And so far I've put quite a lot of work into the farming mechanics and the upgrade mechanics, but I've not put much work into the selling part, and that's what most of the town features are going to be related to. So I've got quite a few fun ideas planned for different ways that you're going to be able to turn your vegetables into money. But first up this week, I need to do something that I've been planning for a long time, and that is to overhaul the entire layout of the town area. So let me tell you about what I want to change about the town's layout. It's a bit hard to explain. It will be easy to show you later, but I'll give it a go. So the town is essentially just a fancy menu which allows you to choose which shop you want to go to or which service you want to use. And what I've always found a bit weird about the town is the way that you move around and navigate in the town. It's the same camera movement as you have in the home area, and it just feels a bit strange that you have this much range of movement in what's essentially just a menu. I've already removed, back when I implemented the town first, I removed the ability to rotate and zoom the camera, which you can do in the home area, but in the town area it just felt very odd. But I think I need to go even further and just restrict this to one axis of movement. So my plan is to make it basically kind of side scrolling. It's not going to look exactly like this is just a quick draft, but the idea is that you'll be looking at the shops face on, and then there'll be arrows on either side which will allow you to scroll to other parts of the town to see your other shopping options, which I think is a more sensible way of navigating through, again, what's essentially a menu. So anyway, as I say, I think it will be easier to show you, so I'm going to start implementing this, and we'll see how it goes. So I've just been setting up a really quick draft version of this in the game. Obviously there's a long way to go before this looks anything like nice, and the layout's not going to be exactly like this. This was just something I quickly threw together so that I could do some testing. It does actually work though, like clicking on the shops does open the shops. And you get the kind of idea of what I'm going for here. Obviously there are some graphical issues, especially with the shadows, because when I was writing the code for them I was assuming that I was always going to have this top-down view. So now that I've got this new camera angle, it's causing a few problems. So I need to fix that next, and I also need to sort out the camera movement so that it only scrolls from left to right instead of you being able to move it all around like this. Before I work on the graphics, I just implemented the camera movement for the town area. I decided to have some set viewpoints which you can then move between by pressing left and right on the keyboard, plus there'll also be buttons on the screen that you can click to go left and right. I thought that this would be better than having a continuous scroll because it just allows you to get around quicker. Like I can press this once and it will take me to a whole new set of shops instead of having to hold it down and scroll there. Plus once you know where the shops are, you can get to a specific shop really quickly. Like I know that the upgrade shop is 2 screens to the left, so I know that if I just press this twice, it will take me straight there instead of having to scroll all the way across until I get there. just been working through the shadow code all afternoon today. It took me a little while to get into it because it's been a while since I last worked on the shadows. It's a bit complicated, lots of maths, but I did eventually manage to fix the issues, so things are looking a bit nicer now. I also added a bit more scenery to this area to spruce it up a bit, and I've just been trying out how it might look with people in the town, because I do want to add villagers at some point. It won't be this week, but later on in this whole town update. So yeah, it's all coming along quite nicely. Tomorrow I'm going to do a bit more work on the graphics and I'll add some sky. This morning I've been working on the sky in the town area, and so far I've just rendered a full screen quad and generated a simple gradient on it, which wouldn't work if the camera was able to rotate, because then it would look like the sky's rotating as well. But seeing as the camera is fixed, the rotation is fixed in the town area, it should be fine. Also, I did add a little bit of noise to the gradient, because I noticed there was some color banding and the noise helps to get rid of that. So, I mean, you won't be able to see it in the video, but in the game, the gradient is now looking silky smooth. I've just had a go at trying to create some clouds, which I found a bit difficult. I'm not really sure what style of clouds would fit this art style, so I've just gone with these simple splodges for now. I'll try and make them look better at some point, but I don't want to waste too much time on these little details at this stage. I'm really trying to make faster progress this week. But the way it works is it's just two textures, so one for the big clouds and one for the small clouds, so you can see the big clouds are moving faster than the small clouds, and then these textures are both just scrolling across the sky quad, just at different rates. So I ended up having one more little go at the clouds, just because I had an extra half hour before lunch. So this is how they look now. I actually like it a little bit better. They're a bit more fluffy. But anyway, that's done for now. I'm finished with the sky, and after lunch, actually it's going to be a bit boring. I've got more rendering code issues to work through. So I'm working through a lot of code work at the moment, and I will be for the next few days. It's all to do with different types of scenes, because the town area is now so different from the home farming area, and it's just not handled very well in the code. So I'm trying to sort all of that out at the moment. But in the meantime, I just wanted to quickly ask you something about the UI, because I was trying out some different designs last week while I was finishing up the UI update. So for the shop UI, this is how it looks in the game currently. And this is another UI, another design that I was trying last week with some different colours, and I just wanted to ask what you think of it. Try to ignore the fact that I've left way too much padding at the top there, but apart from that, what do you think? Is it worth switching to this design, or should I just stick with the current one? I'm still mostly just working through the code changes, but I did also end up making one more update to the sky rendering, because I noticed that when I change the size of the window, it messes up the rendering of the clouds and the gradient, because obviously they're just being rendered onto a full screen quad, so if I change the size of the screen, it changes the size of the quad. So what I've done now is I'm still rendering them to a full screen quad, but I now convert the vertex positions of the quad to world space, and then I do the calculations for the gradient and the texture coordinates in world space. And that basically anchors the sky in the world rather than just anchoring it onto the screen. So now I can even move the camera around a bit, and it still looks like the sky's in the correct place. Good morning everyone. It is the start of a fresh new day, thankfully, because it's been a bit of a struggle over the last almost week or so, working through a lot of the core game code to do with scenes and switching scenes, and to be honest, it just hasn't been going very well. I also had a bit of a cold over the last week, so it's just been a bit of a struggle, very slow going. I'm a bit behind schedule now, so today I just really want to get back on track, power through the final few little updates to do with the new town area, and just get this all finished up so that I can finally get started on some fun gameplay features. Okay, first update of the day done. That went nice and quickly. I've just added these arrows to the UI in the town, which allow you to move left and right. Obviously you can still use the keyboard to do that if you want, but I thought I'd add a mouse option as well, seeing as everything else in the game is currently playable just using the mouse. You don't have to use the keyboard if you don't want to, and I'd like to keep it that way if possible. I've been back in the engine code next today doing a bit of work on audio because I want to add support for sound nodes that I can place in the town so that I can have different ambient sound effects playing in different parts of the town. So you can see one of those sound nodes here. Obviously I've just given it a mesh for now just so that we can see it. Usually it would be invisible. And this sound node is emitting the town sound effect that you can hear, all the people chattering. And if we move further away from the sound node, that sound effect gets quieter. And I've just been working through all the little edge cases to do with these sound effects. For example, when you change scene, I was making sure that the sound effect fades out and doesn't just keep playing. Same thing when you go into the main menu, the sound effects all fade out. And if the sound node gets removed, the sound effect also stops playing. I've just been working on one final little feature for the town area to do with the inventory. I didn't think that the inventory hotbar should be shown in the town area because you can't use your tools in the town area, so clicking on them wouldn't do anything. So I've removed that, but I thought you probably do want to be able to check your inventory while you're shopping to see how many of each item you have. So I added this button here which you can click to open your entire inventory. You can also just press E if you want, and that opens up your main inventory as well as the inventory hotbar so that you can see all of the items that you have. For the rest of the day now, I'm just going to be in Blender, filling out the town scene a bit. I'm not going to do too much work on it at the moment, because it's not really the time for that. But for the rest of the day at least, I just want to try and make it look a bit more finished so that we don't have these paths just cutting off in the middle of nowhere. So I finished work on the town for now. As I said, I'm going to be working on this way more in the future, especially when I work on graphics, but also just over the next few weeks as I add more features to the town. Obviously, the layout is going to evolve as well. But let me give you a quick tour. So this is the town centre, where you've got the most common shops that you'll be using. Then if we go over here, this is going to be a restaurant, which is going to act like a kind of task system and give you orders that you can complete. Then there's space for a couple more shops here. And then if we go over the bridge, this area is where there's going to be a farmer's market at the end of every week, and that's going to provide other ways for you to sell your produce. If we go to the left of the town centre, there's another area for shops here. The only one that's currently active is the upgrade shop. And then to the left there's another currently empty area, but I've got a few plans for this as well. So yeah, that's the town for now. I'm sure it's going to change quite a lot over the coming weeks, but this is a good starting point. So that is going to be it for this week and for the setting up of the town area. Lots more gameplay features coming to the town in the next few months, so I'm looking forward to implementing that. But yeah, I'm really happy with the changes that I've made this week. I've been annoyed by the town for a while. It's been bugging me the way that you'd navigate it, so this just feels like it makes so much more sense. And I also quite like how it looks. I like that you can see the sky in the game for the first time, and I also like that you're now looking at the shops from the front. Before, you saw a lot of roof when you were looking at them from above, but now you can really see each shop properly. Before I finish, I just want to give a massive thank you to the top Patreon supporters from last month. who were Peter Westhuizen, Daniel Serlov, Ingo Moore, Henning Ko, Helson Taveras, Andrew Romans, Marais, Shadeless Fox, Kimo Tamio, Coda the Tyler, Ross from 2 Minute Tabletop, Nikat Asgazada, Zanil Ambakar, Atomic Code, Walden Yan, Chris Naismith, Alan Lance, Wonoff, Dieter Reiner, Tarry Chung, John Needham, Christoph Herpo, Hagen Vingard, Matthew Connaughton, Andrew Witt, Marek Mikolajczyk, Sean McCrory, Caffeine Coda, Timothy Gibbons, Alexander Chavez, and Neil Blakey Milner. So massive thank you to you guys, and of course to everyone else supporting me over on Patreon. For this week though, that is it, so thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you all again next time.